All right, sir. A lot of Nigerians are asking the question that why is it that the North, anything that tends to change the restructuring of Nigeria, they are against it. Just take the issue of state police. A lot of Northerners, leaders were against it. And even this restructuring of states that the president is trying to talk about, they are also against it. Why are the North actually against things that talks about changing the status quo of what we have presently?
Thank you for having me. I'm going to tell you that the reason is not far-fetched because the North is the greatest beneficiary of the fraudulent status quo of Nigeria currently. Because the current composition of Nigeria gives them undue advantage. How can you explain a situation where currently Kano is having 44 local governments? Kano and Jigawa were together. Jigawa was carved out of Kano, and as we speak, Kano is having 44 and Jigawa is having 27. Put together, we are talking about 77 local governments. There's no justification behind that. Now, I've seen a report from Sahara Reporter where the state of Sokoto was quoted to have said, how do we survive if Nigeria break? That doesn't explain the reason they don't want to alter anything that has to do with the status quo. Even the state police is cited. I've seen a report from a prominent Northerner who is already saying Tinubu want to use state police to punish the North. That the North do not have the funding to fund state police. And this is a problem talking about the insecurity created by Northerners, specifically Fulani militias. And every attempt to resolve it is hitting brick wall from the same northern cabal. I will tell you that whether it comes to economic reform, when it comes to political reform, when it comes to security-wise, the North, particularly the Fulani hegemony, will always stand against it. That was explain the reason we even saw when the government wanted to come about the tax reform bills that seek to give areas that generate more advantage. We saw the North rising against it. Not just rising against it, they use their number in the National Assembly to water it down to ensure that they expunge every area that was repugnant to the interests of the North before it was passed. I want to tell you that the version that it passed have already removed all the areas the North felt the federal government wanted to deplete their revenue. And for me, this is not fair. How come in the North we're having 19 states? In the South we're having 17 states. Now, there is a state police bill already sent to State House of Assembly, where we are expecting to take majority of the State House of Assembly to endorse it. To take majority of the State Houses of Assembly in Nigeria is 24. So it means we are requiring 24 State Houses of Assembly to endorse it before it can come back to the President for presidential assent. Make no mistake about it, I'm not a supporter of Tinubu, but on the issue of state police, I support it 100%. Now, if the North go back to their own region, I want to use their number to kill that bill, there is a possibility of doing that. If Tinubu is not able to do a proper lobbying, because if you take out 24 states out of what we have currently, you will not get the required number from the southern part of the country. And what gave them that advantage is the military, because it's the military that made the constitution in such a way that you need to take majority states to endorse any constitutional amendment for it to become a law. So for me, the North must allow some level of reform to take place. I want to tell you that even in the Abuja Accord, a reform policing system was part of it. A decentralized military system was part of it. Now that we are seeing the government telling the whole world, telling Nigerians that we need to reform our policing system. Because don't get it wrong. State governors have been complaining that they do not command the security architecture in their respective states. Even with the recent happening in Oyo State, Sheikh Makinde has come out to tell the whole world that, do I agree with him anyway, that he go about with the burden of the governor and the chief security officer of his state, but yet that you don't command the security architecture in his state. That is the truth anyway. But now the government say, let us give governors some level of security power to operate. Governors from the leaders from the North, particularly the Fulani hegemony, are thinking against it. And look at their scheming to come back to power. The North have this tendency to become afraid anytime a Southerner is in office. They have that phobia. They always want to ensure that they return to power. Look at with everything Buhari did wrong in his time, the South allowed him to finish 8 years. Buhari spent $1.98 billion to construct a rail project from Nigeria to Niger. A rail project that has no economic importance to the Nigerian economy. Yet, nobody questioned him. The Buhari government spent a whopping sum of $19 billion to repair our refineries. And as we speak, none of the refineries is functioning. The same amount that is almost equivalent to the amount that was used to build Dangote refinery, the single largest trade refinery in the whole world, is what Buhari wasted, and nobody is talking about it. The same Buhari borrowed 30 trillion naira from CBN through ways and means, and in all the borrowing, he flouted the laws that enable the borrowing, and as we speak, nobody is talking about it. But for me, I have to say that whether they not like it or not, we must come about state police. Whether they like it or not, we must solve this problem of insecurity.
All right, you talk about the Northern being afraid of dividing the country, quoting the shorthand of Sokoto. Borno State Governor, recently said that Peter Obi should not be trusted, that he cannot be trusted as the president because he believes in Biafra. Is this the reason why Northerners will not vote for Peter Obi?
Anybody has the right to decide not to trust anybody, but he's speaking for himself, he's not speaking for the North. Because even the same Obi you are talking about, we have seen Northerners who are already becoming advocates of Peter Obi. So he cannot generalize his own opinion. I think it should be left to him as his own opinion. He has right to decide to say Obi cannot be trusted. But we have seen a good number of Northerners, perhaps because of the collaboration between Obi and Kwakwanso. Because since Obi and Kwakwanso alliance, we are continuing to see advocates for Peter Obi. He started before now, it was difficult to see anybody speaking for Peter Obi in the northern part of the country. But currently, we see advocates for Peter Obi. So I think the former Borno State Governor is talking about his personal opinion. He has right to his opinion, but his opinion cannot override the interest and opinion of the people.
All right, so what would you also say concerning what Sheikh said, that the window for terrorist collaboration, the windows to collaborate with terrorists, to negotiate with them, has permanently closed, that terrorists are going to do more? What exactly step do you think the president should take to address this persistent insecurity that is happening in the nation?
Let me tell you that the system, or rather the strategy the government should take, is simple. As long as the government is ready to do the right thing, the needful. If you are going the route of state police, it's the way to go, number one. But there are some fundamentals that the government must address, which may equally hurt the North. And I don't mind if you hurt anyone, so long as you are doing the right thing. Number one, once you have the state police in place, the federal government should have the courage to suspend everything that has to do with mining of solid mineral. Depending on when all the irregularities, criminalities associated with solid mineral mining is addressed. I understand that the North, some big shots are the greatest beneficiary of the solid mineral mining in the North. As we saw a video that went viral recently of a former governor of Zamfara State showcasing stockpile of gold, which he intends to use to build gold reserve for his state. These same natural resources are supposed to be done to federal government. So federal government should suspend everything that has to do with solid mineral mining. I've seen the video of a military personnel who made it emphatically clear that he could even be arrested for saying what he said. That anywhere he discovers solid mineral, banditry must be taken on in that place. That the military will be busy fighting the bandits at the front, illegal mining of solid mineral will be taking place at the back. We are still at the Moshomole, who have challenged federal government to use the same might they use against militants in the creeks of Niger Delta, against illegal miners of solid mineral in the northern part of the country. And it has been proven that Chinese nationals are the ones engaging in illegal mining of solid mineral in Nigeria. So we should suspend everything that has to do with mining of solid mineral and address the criminality involved in it. Second one, the government should ensure, these are other state governments, to start enacting anti-open grazing laws. Because open grazing has been identified as a subtle way of terrorism. So they should start enacting at the open grazing law. I understand that in that past, the state government, under the governorship of Ayofayose, and of course, Benue State government, under the governorship of Samuel Otom, enacted at the open grazing laws. But it was difficult to enforce because federal police were the one enforcing it. But if we now have state police in place, enforcing it will be seamless. It will be easy to enforce, so they should go and start enacting it.
All right, finally, what would you say concerning the alleged fake scandal that Prince Adeyemi's father has now been arrested by the police? And what is your own conclusion in all of this scandal that is going on? Who is lying? Is it the federal government or Prince Adeyemi?
For me, on that issue, I'm going to tell you that the government should come clean, and that by us standard, going by the tenets of the Nigerian Constitution, the government, the police have no right to arrest the man, talking about the father or the accused, except otherwise. They are saying that they have accusation against the man in person. For instance, if you tell the man to go, what are you charging the man? They are breaching the man's rights. We have seen so many legal luminaries, senior advocates coming out to lend their voices on this. Even the chairman of Nigerian MBA, the chairman of MBA have equally have led his voice. Even Falana and all of them. And of course, it was Falana that broke the news about the arrest, because according to what I read, I think from Point Back, where Falana called to inform them about the arrest of the man. But the question is, you cannot arrest the father to force the surrender of the son. Our Lord does not permit that. If I believe they arrest him, I want to believe that they have done the wrong thing and that they should quickly release him and apologize to him. Except otherwise, they have reason. Perhaps the man has committed his own offense that they are investigating him. They are looking at the issue, of course, the alleged fake agency of government. The government is not telling us the truth. How can you tell me that you call this agency a fake agency? They succeeded in opening accounts in CBN. They succeeded in raising budget appropriation that passed through the whole rigorous process of budget scrutiny up to the Senate, and the budget came out, it was passed. How do you explain a situation where, because we know that during the process of budget, the relevant agencies and departments normally come to meet with relevant committees of the Senate and to defend their budget. Who came to defend for them? So the government should come and clean and tell us what actually transpired. As far as I'm concerned, the government is not telling us the truth. There's a whole lot of secrecy surrounding this. But what I can say confidently is perhaps the president himself, talking about Senator Tinubu, may not be personally involved. Because if personally involved, it can no longer be illegal. Even if it was illegal before and he decided to say it's legal, he ends there. For him to maintain that it's illegal, it shows that he perhaps is not involved. But I continue to maintain that the government is not telling the truth.
America is watching, Israel is watching, the Germans are watching, UN are watching, the ECOWAS are watching. Ashwadu is a fearless leader. I'm not expecting him at this point to be negotiating or to be considering whatsoever that his name or his fingerprint has been shown on the table or the list of terrorists in Nigeria.
Why is it that the southern leaders, political leaders, are always afraid of the north? Look at what is happening in the Senate to over 210 trillion. And once that southern senator came out and said, no more investigation on this, everybody went quiet. What is going on?
It simply means they have established their structure for donkey years. Why the Easterners are sleeping, why the Westerners are sleeping, the Southerners are sleeping. They have constructed this structure. They have established this power to live over all Nigerians, to dictate, to pass authority, to pass rule, to hold an average northerners. An average northerners, they don't joke with power. I'm talking of what is average. The entire northerners, they don't joke with power and authority. Or they don't have respect for God. All they have respect for is power and authority, position. And that is why you see them that there is no any high-ranking profile people from the east, from the west, from the south. In Nigerian organization, Nigerian system, they'll be poisoned, they'll be killed. Because they are desperate to hold on to power. Here I come this morning. The Mr. President, you wake up. from his slumbering. He should not negotiate with the Northerners leader, with the so-called jihadists, with the so-called Boko Haram bandits or whatever. He should bring their name on board. These people who kill by sword shall die by sword. They will not escape this punishment. If they are to escape this punishment, they should release Nnamdi Kanu and Samuel Ekpa and even other armed robbers, people that are broke, the average Russian people in Nigeria that went to steal 10,000, 50,000, that be arrested, that has been convicted in Nigerian prison. The Mr. President should order for their release. If these people will escape this punishment, what do you mean by over 300 and something that be granted amnesty, integrated or being rehabilitated to come back to society? No.